Hey everyone, welcome back to the Desire Talks podcast. I'm your host, Ethan Bradbury, aka MrBritainX. This is the podcast where we talk to sex workers from around the world. We find out a little bit more about themselves. We find out a bit behind the scenes. We hear some funny stories. We find out what's coming up and what's on the platform, things like that. But today is a little bit different. We're going to be speaking to a good friend of mine. I met him through the industry. He's a photographer. His name is Alex Wightman. He is huge in the fitness photography industry. But he made that move over to the sex worker industry. He works them both hand in hand. And we want to find out why he did it, what he enjoys about it. And he has a few big things coming up as well. So we're going to get into that. So let's get him on, Alex Wightman. Right, everyone. So here's Alex. Alex, say hello to everyone.
Hello.
Right, so I've said that me and you have worked together quite a few times. You're a good friend of mine, and I've explained that you're a photographer and that you mainly work with the fitness community. And then you've kind of now, well, you work with the adult community a little bit as well. So let's just go right the way back. Tell us a bit about yourself, Alex.
So I'm 35 now. I started photography when I was 24, I think. So that's when I went self-employed anyway. But I had no photography background beforehand. I was studying fine art at uni, and I remember 2009 was when I graduated, and then I started my business in 2010, and I did work for a photography company for a year. So somewhere around there, I was getting into photography. But I do remember being like going sole trader in 2010. So it's a good 12 years
So
almost now.
when you jumped into that photography, so you're working for a company, realized, bloody hell, I'm quite good at this. What type of photography did you jump into when you went sole trader?
So yeah, literally after I finished my degree, I went to the job center because I was like, oh, I need a job. And I remember looking through the screen. I don't know if it's different now because it was good. That's the only time I've ever been to the job center. Back in 2010.
It's
Because
such a happy place, isn't it? full of such likable people.
yeah, I remember standing in there looking at this screen, and I was scrolling through a list of things that were coming up. I think there were options to pick um, like filters and stuff, and I was basically looking for anything creative because I couldn't work in a bank or anything like that because I would just suffocate as a person.
Yeah.
Um, because I did a creative background like degree, so. And I remember seeing the word photographer come up on the screen, and it was the first time I'd ever considered doing photography. I mean, when I was at uni doing fine art, it was pretty much whatever you wanted to do. And I did use a camera now and then during my degree, but it wasn't something I knew a lot about, technical wise, etc. So, and it was the first time I saw or thought about doing something like that. And the company that I worked for was like a portrait company. So they
Yeah.
did like family portraits. So mostly children and like families. Um, and I went along to the interview. They offered me the job. Um, and I worked a year for them. And it made me realize that I enjoyed doing photography and like work with people. And then the company, in a nutshell, I didn't get on with them and I decided to leave. And
Mhm.
there were people in my life at the time that were quite supportive of like what I was doing and going self-employed. So I had, a roof over my head thanks to my parents and the support from people around me at the time. So I had that kind of strength to get into being self-employed. Um, and to answer your question in a long-winded way, I got into shooting family portraits immediately because that's what I was used to doing. Um, and quite quickly into doing that, I realized, this is not what I want to do for my own work, but it was what I was used to doing. That's why I went into it. I
Yeah.
started looking at weddings because weddings were, I'm not going to say easy, but they
A
were like a
typical
quick,
moneymaker. It's a bread and butter,
yeah,
isn't it?
yeah, a quick way of getting, decent money. They were quite daunting. I remember like, my first ones.
Mm.
And
Bridezillas.
now,
Come on.
I've actually never really had a proper bridezilla.
Okay.
I mean, I've had people, obviously people are stressed and stuff, but I think like, you know, doing wedding photography, it can be really stressful with like the unpredictable side of stuff. You have to, with wedding photography, you have to be quite experienced, I think, with being able to deal with any kind of situation. So
Mm.
I've done weddings where, you know, equipment's failed. I've done weddings where the weather's like not been what you want. You've had to use areas that you don't want to use, and you know, people are another factor. So you have to be quite adaptive.
So
And yeah,
done a bit of weddings, and then
mm.
you realised the family stuff wasn't what you wanted to do. Was it weddings, or did you go to fitness straight away, or was there a stepping stone again towards that?
So I had a little word with myself to work out what it was I was not connecting, I guess, with the customers I was working with at the time and the sort of work I was producing. And what it was I didn't feel like I was being challenged creatively, and that
Yeah.
wasn't my customer's fault, because you know, I was quite new to working for myself. But I went on a website. I won't name it, but I went on a website which was to help find models and things. Um,
Mm.
and I believe it's still going. But
To be fair, I actually think is it 2 words, M and M for each word.
yeah,
Yeah,
and I
yeah.
was on,
Straight away, I knew
and
exactly what you're on about.
I was on there, and you know, I was getting people messaging me, and I met up with some models, and you know, it was all time for print basis, which
To
was
be
like,
fair, back in 2008, I think I was on there, and I worked with a few photographers. So yeah, that was a really good website. And to be fair, we can say it was Model Mayhem, wasn't it?
yeah. I mean, I still, I think I have a profile which I never really used, but back then it was
God
really
knows.
handy.
I don't even know if I've still got a profile on there.
Hmm. Yeah, it was quite a good database, but you
Yeah,
have to be careful on there because there's a lot of weirdos. Anyway,
yeah, yeah.
so I started making a portfolio with people I was meeting off of there, and at the time I was really into shooting in derelict buildings.
Mhm.
It's called urbexing,
Oh, is that what it's
and I was,
called? Didn't even know that.
yeah, yeah. If you're an urbexer, you like going to derelict buildings.
Okay.
And I've been in some very scary places, let me tell you. And I have a story to tell you. Next time I see you, probably on the 15th.
You can't
Um,
tell us on the podcast, no?
no, no, this is too many. I've been in some really scary places. Let's just say that. And
All right. Was it a ghost or was it a hobo?
I've had some really freaky encounters. When I see you, I'll
All
tell
right.
you about.
Okay. Okay.
So yeah, so I was doing some like shoots in those kind of places, and I was kind of developing a style at the time, I guess, like
Mhm.
location wise, and like it was a bit different. And there was a guy that messaged me off Model Mayhem who asked to work with me, and I worked with him. And that was when I first realized about the whole fitness scene, because the guy that I worked with was already involved with the fitness industry. Because at the time, the fitness industry was quite fresh on social
Yeah.
media, um, and he was one of those guys that was quite involved. And because I'd worked then with him, um, everyone else in that industry started seeing me. So, and that's when I became aware of the fitness industry. And I was quite lucky, I guess, to have joined that industry when it was quite fresh, because,
Yeah.
you know, without blowing my own trumpet, like I became like one of the most known photographers in it at the time. It's obviously a lot more saturated now,
Yeah.
which,
You went viral. Like your fitness stuff is huge.
yeah,
So
there's a lot of people.
if anyone searches you, what do they search? Alex Wightman photography, and they'll find you on most platforms.
Yeah, I mean, I've been in social events where obviously, you know, I've seen people that train and whatever, and then sort of get into conversation, and then it turns out that I probably worked with someone they know, or then they might not twig who I am initially, but then they'll be like, oh yeah, I've seen your work, like my logo and stuff. So it does surprise me, like how many people do know about me, even like around different parts of the world.
Mm.
But the fitness industry has changed a lot over the years. Like it was great, it's a lot more saturated. It is like getting blood out of a stone now,
Yeah.
and that's kind of why I've had to adapt, and leading into the sort of sex work type of stuff. That's probably why I've turned my eye to that kind of work as well, because you know, with the
So
rise of certain platforms, it's become a thing that people have turned to.
did you come to that idea yourself, or was there a model that suggested, or did I don't really know. I've not ever spoke to you about this.
Mm.
So
Yeah, I was referred to it
yeah, so
by.
someone mentioned it to you.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I was referred by Vince. Everyone knows Vince.
Oh, okay, yeah. Oh, Vince, I'm on about getting Vince on this actually.
Yeah.
So guests, if you know who It's not Veggie Vince anymore, is he? Used to be known as Veggie Vince, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Vince I knew through the fitness industry.
Yeah.
And I've known him quite a while. And then there was when I just moved to the Midlands, and he was around here. That's when he first mentioned it to me, and I've always thanked him for signing me up to it, because it's actually been like a massive help with, at the time, the fitness industry was still providing, and then all of a sudden it wasn't. So, and
Yeah.
it suddenly became a safety net. I mean, it's still very unpredictable, but the money that I have, earned through it has been, I wouldn't change that. And also working with the people in that industry as well, it is enjoyable. I mean, I nothing shocks me, and I've seen everything. So,
Mm.
but the thing I try to do is keep both types of clients separate, because I don't want one or the other being put off. Not that I kind of care too much. I mean, I'm confident enough in what I'm doing, but I am aware of the fact that not everyone gets it. So I
Yeah,
do have.
you don't want to be labeled as just the porn photographer. You want to be, you bread and butter. You're really good at fitness. You still want to be established and reputable there, but the adult side is a separate entity, kind of.
Yeah, I mean, I use Twitter for the more naughty side, and as I start to use that more recently, and getting more attention on there, I do get people that message me on Twitter that haven't seen my other work, and they
Mm.
think that what I'm doing on Twitter is solely what I do, and I'm like, no, it's not all I do. But
All right then. What is your Twitter? Because obviously I said everyone search Alex Wightman photography. That's your
mm,
fitness. What's
yeah.
the one to search for your naughty stuff?
Well, it's actually still my name, which I probably should change, but it's too late, I think, now, really. It's because I originally started using Twitter for my normal work anyway. So you can
Oh,
still find me on there under my surname slash, it's Whiteman underscore Alex is
all
my
right.
Twitter handle.
I thought it was Sir Alex. What is it? So Whiteman
So
on.
I mean, my actual handle is at Whiteman underscore Alex, but my name is Sir Alexander on there.
Okay. All right. Well, what I'll do then is when we finish this podcast, you message me exactly what your handles are, and I'll put them in the captions. They'll make it a lot
Yeah.
easier. But okay. So when Vince came round, was it Vince came to do a normal shoot, and he was kind of like, I need to get some nudes. Was it that? Was that how the subject come across, or was it just general? You already knew he did that, and he goes, "Why don't you ever do it?"
I can't remember, because I obviously didn't have OnlyFans at the time. I hadn't heard of it. But I mean, Vince is quite comfortable anyway in himself, and I'm pretty sure we were like exploring sort of implied nudes at least.
Yeah, I mean,
Um,
implied nudes, even within normal fitness, it's done quite frequently, isn't it?
yeah. So because I didn't have any sort of way of using that kind of content otherwise, until that profile. But yeah, so I'm pretty sure we were doing like implied sort of shots. But obviously Vince was like me, actually, because after I became aware of OnlyFans, I spent a lot of time referring people to it. The amount of people that I was meeting,
Yeah.
and signing them up, and I signed up some good names as well. So like Vince made that his thing as well, and obviously saw potential in signing me up as well. So that's why he referred it to me.
Mm.
But it's only recently where I've focused on my own one, content wise, to try and make up for the money that they took away from me.
Okay. Yeah, because that was a thing as well, wasn't it? OnlyFans, their referral system, was once you referred someone, you got, because OnlyFans took 20% of everyone's money, didn't they? But if you referred, they only took 15, and the referrer took 5%. So the new model
Yeah,
lost no money, wasn't it?
yeah,
But
yeah.
that was forever. And then
Mm.
after,
Lifetime it was.
yeah, lifetime. And then after so many years, they just dropped an email, went, yeah, we're getting rid of that. You've got 12 months, and then you don't get the money anymore. So you lost a big ass chunk there, didn't you?
Yeah, I mean, they changed it from lifetime to 12 months and after your first million. So, you know, the amount of time you had to invest in someone in helping them build up their profile,
Yeah.
it just wasn't worth it at the end of the day. And since then, I haven't just bothered. I haven't bothered referring people to it. and I've just
Yeah.
focused on my own one, which is doing okay now with the sort of content I'm making. But
I was going to say before, go on, actually, no, you carry on.
I was just going to say that because of like all their sort of random changes affecting me, that's why I invested in sort of my own platform that I'm releasing, but as a safety net. But it's just a thing having to adapt, in this industry, being
Well, you
self-employed.
mentioned there that you about your own platform, which I really want to go into. But before we do, if anyone signs up to your pages, wherever they are,
Hmm.
what are they going to find? What type of content is on your currently your OnlyFans?
So until recently, I'd say in the last kind of couple of months, it was mostly like behind the scenes, um, as I'm shooting, more nudes, that kind of thing. So like pictures and videos of my shoots. And
But it's
then
not. But the nudes, because I know, because I've worked with you, it's not just an implied artsy nude. It's you go quite raunchy with it, don't you?
yeah, so I mean, OnlyFans is like a place for more explicit stuff. So I'd describe it more as porn than art. But more recently, I mean, I'm a massive
I
nerd anyway, as you can
I would
probably see from
describe
like the
it.
helmet.
I'd describe it more. Yeah, I'd describe it though like as erotica, so it is a type of art.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
I'm
because
being,
like,
I'm just being simple, but yeah,
yeah,
it is everything. It's all art,
I quite
but
like it because like obviously anyone can take a picture, like a guy can take a picture naked with a boner, but you can make that picture looks just so much more. That's the skill of a photographer, the way the light and the angles, the directing that you've done behind an image. So it's
yeah,
just I don't know, it's a lot, it's nicer. And then you can go, right, let's just get some really like basic filth. And then you're like, right, no, I want to try this. Because
you
I've got
can
I've got
obviously put some.
thousands of images with you, thousands.
Yeah, I'm a bit trigger happy. I mean, obviously you can like put some more thought into the lights changing here. I'm just trying to like turn more to where the window light is.
That's fine.
Um, so yeah, I mean, obviously you can be more creative and whatever, and I always aim to be when I'm shooting, regardless of the sort of themes and content. But um, what I was like getting into is basically saying that I've actually realized sort of themes and things like that has helped me. At the moment, I've always been around top 7. I've gone now to top 1.5 in the last couple of months because of like my change of content. I've started making more kind of nerdy type, sort of fantasy type themes. People love like superheroes and stuff like, and
Yeah, because these guys you're getting in are like absolute rock solid. Like they might as well have been carved out of marble kind of models, a lot of them. And
that's
these are
because I work a lot in fitness.
yeah.
So.
So you've got these guys who look like superheroes. So like, let's do some bloody superhero shit. And a lot of people fantasize about these type of physiques. So you're
Yeah,
nailing it. Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, you'll see that kind of content too on there. Basically, if you're a nerd, then you'll love it. Um,
but,
um,
but you've kind of dabbled in something else, which is really like hit a market, which was quite unexpected, isn't there? It's that robot stuff.
yeah, I mean, I'm encompassing all that into what I'm saying about the superheroes. So basically, anything that's like kind of sort of magic or fiction or like kind of fantasy, that's the kind of stuff I've started, exploring. And a lot of the themes, not a lot of everyone will understand what's going on, but there is a large audience in itself. Like, and I'm enjoying making it. And if a guy's up for it, then I obviously am in need of that type of content. So, but it's really helped me. I know I'm doing something right because of going from top 7 to top 1.5.
Yeah.
And so I'm just like continue to explore it. And when I actually get around to being able to use my own platform, I'm gonna use it extensively for that type of content. So I'll know I'll get people attracted to it
Mm.
initially.
I do actually want to stress something before we move on to your platform. Talking about saying you're doing this for these models and X, Y, Z. You've also helped quite a lot of models as well. Just give you a bit of recognition where, like, just by saying, like, right, you've not really done photo shoots. Doesn't matter if you've never done one before. Come round, and there's nothing pushy about you. It's quite like we'll go at your own pace. We'll do X, Y, Z.
Yeah,
And
I mean,
you promote them because with your pages, because you have some bloody big ass pages. What's your Facebook now? Like 1 million followers, something like that.
no, it's always just been under,
just under,
annoyingly.
so just under a million, and you're like,
Yeah.
yeah, I'll post you on there. So you like, so you're working with these models, and yeah, honestly, so you're helping quite a lot of models out as well, and that's one thing you want to do with your new platform, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I pride myself on trying to help people. I mean, I won't name people, but someone recently said I was selfish, and it's just not true. I like to help people. It's what I've based my whole
Mm.
career on. I like making people feel good about themselves. I like making people, see the potential in
Oh,
themselves.
another thing then that you just said, because you said like make people feel good about themselves, and we're talking about how you work with these people who have bodies made out of marble. Even though I've said that, and you work a lot with them, that's just because that's what fits your audience. But you're quite happy to work with various body types, aren't you?
Well, actually, I don't know what necessarily my audience are into, but I mean, I do get in terms of physique. I think there actually is a mixture, but um, I get those type of people come to me just purely because I work a lot in the fitness industry. But yesterday I worked with if I'm allowed to say the word Twinkie guy,
Mm.
and I actually like working with slimmer guys personally because they have more of like a model sort of look in a lot of the time.
Okay.
um, you know, big guys fine, but I was always find facially and expressions and things just not as interesting. Um, but I do like.
It's because they're spending so much time trying to tense their body that they can't have a nice expression at face.
And also because I mean, not everyone gets it. I mean, I love the freaky side of bodybuilding. Reason why I like shooting fitness is because I love seeing all of the vascularity and every single muscle, and but it's freaky, and I love it.
Yeah.
And but that kind of condition puts a lot of people off because they don't understand it. Like when you buy a pair of underwear, the guy on the packet is not shredded. There's someone that looks good, but someone that you can relate to. So I am aware of different body types. Not everyone will be into like the shredded guys.
Mm.
Some like more of a fuller guy. Some like slimmer guys. Whatever. Like everyone's got their own taste, which is why I've actually struggled with my own OnlyFans because my OnlyFans is all different types of people. But I think the reason why mine suddenly started becoming good is because of the themes that I'm exploring. So people aren't joining my OnlyFans for a certain body type; they're joining it for the concepts that are going on.
Yeah.
Which is why I feel like I've found a niche and a direction for my content.
That's quite nice to hear, actually. All right then. So we're talking about now your platform. You have got a name, but we're going to refrain from naming it until it's 100% ready to release.
Yeah.
So by the time this comes out, because this might not be released for a couple of weeks, you could be ready, you could be out, So, but we're going to talk about it without a name. So we'll just call it your platform. So tell us about your platform. Like, what made you want to do it?
So I mentioned briefly earlier, but with OnlyFans taking away loads of my money, and then that kind of scare of them going to stop all porn.
Oh
That's
yeah,
what
because
prompted me to.
they said they were going to stop all porn, didn't they? And then literally everyone had a meltdown who was working in it, and yeah, it's crazy. So the uncertainty of it, isn't it? So you thought, I'm going to do my own. I'm
I
safe.
mean, I hate not being in control, and especially when it comes to money. So I was like, why am I letting someone else be in control of this? So I've decided. I mean, I had the money to put aside for it, and I said to myself, if I don't do it now, I'll never know. So you got to spend money to make money. So I invested in this platform, and my sort of plans with it are going to be a little bit different to maybe how other platforms are doing theirs, because I mean, I'm not putting all my eggs in one basket. So I mean, I'm a photographer by trade. That's how I make my money. I'm not aiming to be greedy with my platform. So one, I'm offering my creators more, and I'm taking less. I'm also offering the referral scheme. But the thing that I think I'm going to take sort of route wise with this is to not have thousands and thousands of creators that I don't know who they are. There'll be people I've worked with, there'll be people that they've worked with that have been referred, and I just don't want all this unpredictable sort of people on there, which is probably
Mm.
one of the reasons why I think platforms like OnlyFans have been under fire. So I want to be a bit more like kind of I use the word family. Um, family orientated with the people that I'm sort of working with on there. Obviously, like there's no limit to the amount of subs that can join, but in terms of those on there creating, there'll be people that I've approved or the
Yeah.
creators that I'm approving have
So, for
suggested.
example, I come on there because you know me and I've worked with you, and you're like, yeah, you can create an account. I want to refer a friend. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's something where I'm going to be like, do they be then able to like approach the website, create a profile, then you personally have to approve if they're allowed on it or not?
Yeah, I mean that's how it works anyway. So when you sign up, you have to, say you're 18 and whatever, and you agree
It's
to
not
that
an
and you
age
sign up.
thing. It's just because you said you don't want loads of creators. If the referral scheme's there, obviously all the creators are like, let's get my friends on here, let's do that. But
yeah,
you want to approve them because we know in the industry now there's people who've got bad reputations and stuff, and you won't want them.
yeah. I mean, when you sign up to OnlyFans, you still got to go for that approval process. So it's the same thing. So basically, when you sign up to it and then you want to become a creator, you have to fill in that bit and then you submit ID, etc. And then I have to approve that person basically. And
But yours is a little bit more personal. You're just like, I don't know you. Is that the difference?
perhaps, yeah. And the person
To begin with.
Yeah, to begin with. But I mean, I'm not aiming to be greedy with the amount of money I want to be taking on there. So it's all about the if you were on there, obviously try and make as much as you can. But that doesn't. But other people being on there won't impact you.
Let's talk a little bit about differences then between you and your platform and OnlyFans. So on OnlyFans, it's quite you found someone on social media and then you click on their profile and you're at their profile. You're talking about there's a feature where you've got like a homepage where just models are featured on there so you can find people, isn't it?
Yeah, so there's like a kind of sort of a wall almost, like a communal wall called the dashboard or discovery. And when you create a post on your profile, there are like some options where you can choose for it to go through to the discovery page, and then people that subs that have joined the platform that haven't necessarily joined your profile yet could probably see you on that discovery page to be like, oh, they look good, I'll go and check their profile out and subscribe. And there's obviously different categories and things for people to search as well. So basically, you've got a bit more options with your posts, and you can also lock your own. Like if you rather than you can do private messaging and stuff, but you can put like a locked post on your own profile. So even those that have sub to you can still have to pay for additional stuff. So that's going on as well.
Okay, so back to more differences. OnlyFans is very, very restrictive. Like OnlyFans, you can't post outdoors, you can't do your water sports, you can't do. There's just a lot of BDSM you can't do, like loads and loads of it. Just the list is like that. I can't even remember off the top of my head. But
yeah,
are you going to be allowing a lot more stuff, or are you going to have similar rules? Or
no,
go on.
No, that it won't be as restrictive as that. No, but obviously there are certain themes that they've got on theirs that are rightly sort of prohibited. But
anything
I think
anything that breaks the laws, a no-go as a given.
I think the reason I think the reason why they've become so tight on sort of themes on their platform is because of how out of control it's got with the amount of people that have joined it.
Yeah.
Which is why I don't want mine to be the same. Because I think the reason why they've made their list so long is because they're not able to be in control of all their creators. Because there's a lot of people on there abusing their position.
Yeah.
So that's why I think there's issues with letting all these random people join your site.
Yeah, I agree there. It is gutting the whole BDSM thing because there's a huge fan base for that, and then OnlyFans just kind of like you can't do. You got to be very careful because we allow it, but we don't allow it to an extent. It's like, where's the line? And they're like, we don't know, just post it and we will see. But there's a risk of deletion for that. It's not just a whole, yeah, we don't allow that. They could just go, your account's deleted. But you said I could do it. Yeah, but not that one. It's scary, you know. But if on yours you're like, yeah, feel free to hog tie someone and give them a good spanking, happy days.
Yeah, I mean, obviously consent is important, isn't it? But
Yeah.
it's quite obvious that, you know, if people are, you know, acting role playing.
Yeah, and as well, I mean, you could literally have that on model all these forms, can't you? The fact they've done that, or you could even somehow have it as part of the video where it's quite clear to see. You know, like at the end of me and you spoke, and at the end of your videos, you even thought about saying something, didn't you, or get them to say something?
Yeah, recently I've started doing disclaimers and getting people like saying like, oh, you know, like when you watch porn anyway, you get the actors talking, they just sat in their bathrobes, giving each other
Oh yeah, yeah.
in a hug. Like that was good. So it's kind of like that.
No, well, that's
So
a really good idea for BDSM scenes and stuff like that.
yeah, because it's kind of like, well, it's all acting and consenting.
Yeah.
So you know, as long as that's made clear for people, because I think people just get offended so easily when they see stuff. And perhaps, you know, for the right reasons, some people might have, you know, had ordeals in the past where, you know, they're triggered by certain themes,
Yeah.
but they do have the option to turn it off.
Yeah.
So like, you know, consent is a big thing, and I know like OnlyFans are big on that too, but to the point where I feel like they just can't manage the amount of people, so they just act brashly,
Mm.
basically.
Oh yeah, I'm really excited for your platform. Can't wait for it to come out. We just before we close, we briefly mentioned about in the past, me and you've discussed doing like big trips with people from your platform, haven't we? So we'll kind of explain what the idea was behind that.
So again, like that kind of family feel of looking after people, and not a selfish person. I like to, in my head, like organize sort of events and trips. Like have, I mean, I used to do like for a company, used to like go to Marbella and we used to like hire out a villa and we used to shoot loads of models in the villa and stuff. That kind of thing. Just have a group of people together making content and traveling around. Obviously, it's really difficult right now with the restrictions and stuff.
Mm.
But in an ideal world, if there is one, that is what I'd like to be doing at some point.
Well,
Basically, like you do with your events and stuff. Just
yeah.
kind of like have sort of that kind of, you know, photography model kind of content going on.
Well, we better do that this summer because I'm sure you'll be well underway by then. We'll get a team of your platform's models and we'll just go to some sunny country because we can't be doing it in the snow. I'm not doing that.
I would really like to go somewhere nice and hot. Yeah.
Yeah, if you say, right, we're going on a skiing trip for a photo shoot, I'll tell you to piss off now. I'm not getting me dick out in snow.
Yeah. Yeah. Roll around in the snow.
I can't handle the cold. Like my butt cheeks will be freezing. Like
No, somewhere nice and warm.
yeah, nice and sunny. We'll do. Oh, you don't have a waterproof camera. I was going to say we'll do some underwater stuff. Sure, we can
That's
sort it.
that's really expensive, but yeah.
Yeah, we'll just do it on our phone. Then we'll
You,
walk.
you can get like those. I've done like, you know, those disposable underwater cameras. I've used them before.
Yeah, yeah.
They're
Oh,
quite.
right. There we go. There we go. All right then. So, is there anything before we leave? Because we haven't done any fan questions today. We'll do that for another time. Is there anything that you would like to say to fans, followers on your social medias, any potential new fans, just people in general, any upcoming photographers, models you've worked with, anything?
Yeah. Well, I'm always like, my DMs are always open. I, you know, respond to everybody, inquiries. So, and don't be intimidated by, you know, sort of types of guys or, you know, bodies and things that you see. I will work with everybody. I think everybody's beautiful, as cheesy as that sounds. And I like to help people realize that. So regardless of, you know, whether it's more explicit porn, implied, clothed, whatever, I will, you know, be able to shoot it. And then yeah, thanks to all my fans for continuing to like follow, and I'm glad you're liking the new content, and I like hearing ideas and stuff like that. So yeah, just a big thank you, really.
No, that's perfect. Thanks for that, mate. So everyone, if you want to go check out Alex's work, it's Alex Wightman Photography or whatever his other ones were that he said, but we'll have links somewhere. I'm yeah, I'm the host, Ethan Bradbury, aka MrBritainX. So feel free to find us on social media, and we will see you soon. Bye, everyone. Bye.
Yes.